Hi everyone. Today we're going to be making a triangle start for an alpha bracelet. And I'll be using the pattern on the screen. I already cut out my base string, which is what I'm holding, and I have one extra string that is longer by a lot. That will be my leading string. Yeah, leading string. I'm going to make a knot, then I will tape it down and I will start the bracelet tutorial. Now for this tutorial I'll be using the straight edge technique, which means I'll be making backward forward knots on the ends or forward backward knots. Just in case you do not understand, you can make either a forward knot or a backward knot instead. Separating my leading string from the base string, I'm going to make a forward backward knot to start. Now with the diagram above, I'm going to divide my strings into two. Now this tutorial is for an even number of strings. For an odd number of strings, I have a separate tutorial. So I'm going to make a backward forward knot with the patch on the left and a forward backward knot with the one on the right. Now that I'm done with the one on the right, I'm going to take one string out of that, leaving 3 strings in that bunch, and I'm going to make another forward backward knot. Now I'll make one backward knot over the string I just removed, and then when I'm done with that, I will remove another string from the bunch on the left and make a backward knot over that one too. So I'm removing a string from the one on the left, leaving that bunch with 3 strings too, and I'm going to make a backward knot over the string I'm currently holding. Now I'm going to make a backward forward knot over the bunch on the left. To complete my row, I'll just make one backward forward knot. Now I'm going to remove another string from this bunch on the left, leaving it with 2 strings in the bunch. Now I'm going to make a backward forward knot over this bunch. Now since I have 3 solo strings, I am going to make 3 forward knots. 1 forward knot over each string. Now we are going to remove a bunch of string from the one on the right, leaving 2 strings there, and we're going to make a forward knot over that single string. Then we're going to make a forward backward knot over the bunch. Now for our next row, when we are done, we are going to remove the other bunch, so we're going to have a single string instead. So we're going to have one string that we're going to make a forward backward knot over. So 1 forward backward knot. Now we're going to make 6 backward knots. So we're stopping right before our bunch on the left. Now we're going to separate the bunch on the left. So we're going to make one backward knot over one of the strings in the bunch. We're officially done with bunches. So we're going to make one over this string and then we're going to make our backward forward knot on the edge, which is on our last string. Now we can just proceed to make normal knots. So we're going to make one backward forward knot on the edge, 6 forward knots, and then a forward backward knot on the right edge, which will be our last string on the right. And now while we're doing this, I'm going to make another tutorial, and it's going to be part 2. On second thought, I'll just merge it with this one. So this bracelet I made has only 8 strings, which is considered a thin alpha bracelet. I'm going to make one with a larger string. There, that's it. And I think you can see that it already has a triangle shape already, but it's not really going to come out as well because it is a very small bracelet. It's an 8-string bracelet, but it has a triangle like shape. If I removed my knots, it would be better. And you just continue with your bracelet and figure out how you would like to end it. So this bracelet has 13 strings, one of which is our leading string, so we are going to cut 12 bass strings and add one extra one which will be longer than the rest, because that's going to be our leading string, which means it's the one we're going to be making knots from left to right or right to left. So the pattern's on the screen, and I'll leave links in the description for both patterns, so don't worry. Now, so we're going to make one forward backward knot like we did in the previous bracelet. Then we'll proceed to divide our strings into 2. I'm not putting up any diagram for this because I want you to be able to visualize this in your head and try to figure it out, because, well, it makes it easier if you were able to do it yourself. So we divided our strings into 2. I have 6 on each side because this is a 12-string bracelet. Now I'm going to make a backward forward knot on the left, and then I'll make another forward backward knot on the right. Again, I am using the straight edge technique. If you do not want to do this, you could just make a backward knot or a forward knot instead. Now taking one string out from the bunch, moving it away. Now on the bunch I'm going to make another forward backward knot. And I'm going to make a backward knot on the single string I just removed. Then I'm going to take out one string from the bunch on the left. I'm going to take out one string from the bunch on the left, and I am going to make a backward knot over that single string too. Now I'm going to make a backward forward knot over the bunch on the left now. And basically for triangle styles, we're just going to make forward knots, backward knots, and then remove a string from the bunch and remove another one. So we removed another string from the bunch on the left. Now we have only 4 strings left in that bunch, making our backward forward knots. Now we're going to proceed to make 3 forward knots. It would have been 4, but we have now removed our bunch from the right hand side, so just make 3 forward knots. We remove our bunch, one string from this bunch now, just the closest one you can possibly find to your knots, and make a forward knot over it. Now we're going to make a backward forward knot over the a forward backward knot over the right bunch. Remove one string from that bunch now and make another forward backward knot. So our bunch now has 3 strings on the right. We'll proceed to make 5 backward knots. Removing one string from the bunch on the left, now we're going to make another backward knot. So we made a total of 6 backward knots. Now for our edge, we make a backward forward knot to end this row. Then remove one string from it, leaving 2 strings, and make another backward forward knot on that bunch. Then we'll proceed to make 7 forward knots. I'm Wanda from Sam Josiah. I make tutorials on friendship bracelets and crafts in general. And this is an alpha tutorial which is going from left to right. And for these alpha tutorials, I suggest you learn about straight edge technique. Now we're going to remove one string from the bunch on the right and make a forward knot over it. And then with the one on the edge, we are going to make a forward backward knot over the bunch to end the row. And now we are going to separate the strings, and on this single string we're going to make a backward forward knot, which is on the one on the edge. We will proceed to make 10 backward knots. So I'm going to make 10 backward knots and I will continue what I'm saying. So I'm saying that you should learn how to use the straight edge technique, because while the normal alpha technique is very nice, this one gives you a nice straight edge. Okay, that one's a little bumpy, but this one gives you a nice straight edge. And while you're at it, also learn the flat alpha technique. I have tutorials on that, but they have not been published. When they are published, I'll link them down in the description too. But I have a tutorial on half alpha where I use this triangle start, just in case you want to check it out and see it actually in practice. Okay, so we're going to separate the 2 strings here, and we're going to knot onto one. That's a backward knot, and then on the last string we are going to make a backward forward knot to complete this row. Now that we're done, we're just going to continue to make knots. So I'm going to make one row of forward knots like I did in the previous, I showed you in the previous bracelet, just to show you that you can just keep going with it and have this nice triangle start. And on Instagram, on my story, I actually post a lot of, well, I would say WIPs, but I also see what I make for the rest of this month, and you can also suggest a pattern you would like me to make. Just in case you're wondering, this is actually a cow bracelet. Yes, I'm making a cow bracelet. This is my first one, so I'm actually going to enjoy this process. I actually filmed a knot with me for it, but unfortunately I'm not going to post it. So thank you and bye.